What's going on, guys? Mr. Knows Hoops back today with another video. And today we are talking about one of the more interesting, I think we all sort of expected this series to go the way it's going, just in terms of, its record being 2-2. But it's been far more defensive than I think any of us expected. The Clippers and the Mavs. Guys, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're still at about like 776 or 77 subscribers. Let's get that to 800 within this next couple of days in April, and let's really talk about this series. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, join the Discord. We're streaming in there all the time, talking basketball all the time, especially with the playoffs. So the first thing we need to talk about is Luka Doncic, because I would say, just by the numbers, it's his worst playoff series of his career so far. The only other year where the numbers look kind of similar are his series against the Warriors. And even then, by this point, while I'm recording this video, at least, it ain't looking, those numbers look better. So Luka is averaging 29, 9, and 9, which it's Luka. So that sounds awesome, right? On 39 from the field, 27 from 3, with 12 threes a game, and 81 from the line. So let's look into what Luka's doing here that could be better. I think the biggest issue is Luka's settling. So, right, he's got 9 seconds left. He's got this whole lane right here, right? But he's got Terrence Mann, and instead he just sort of goes, I could pull it. And he misses. Right, now, obviously, it's a superstar caliber guy. Like, even a shot later I'm going to have, even in yesterday's game, or 2 days ago's game, Luka had a huge step back shot right in the fourth quarter to tie the game. So it's not to say that Luka is just going to brick and keep, but 12 threes a game is just, I'm going to be honest, it's lazy. It's lazy by Luka, because I know for a fact 42% of his shot chart from this series should not be threes. I'm not saying he should be attacking the rim all the time, but according to Clean the Glass, he's been going at the rim, or, shooting at the rim 8% this entire series. By far the lowest in his career. Not even like remotely close. Now I understand, and I'm sure you guys are going to say, but Imster, he got hurt. You are correct. I think, though, at some point, you still have, if you're going to go out there and play 40 plus minutes, right? So Luka tweaked his knee, I believe, in like game 3. And if you guys remember, when I think it was in the third quarter, right before the end of the third quarter, like the last minute and a half of the third quarter, Jason Kidd pulls Luka, and he goes, no, keep me back out there. Luka, if it's that bad, and I get it, right? Like, he's got the dog in him, he's got the competitor in him, he wants to play. But if it's that bad, I don't think he would be so insistent. So basically what I'm saying is, it's just laziness by Luka. Right. I mean, look at this, right? Even this little stagger action here, right? Irving fades to the corner. Daniel Gafford starts to roll. Waits for Amir Coffey to be back by the free throw line. Boom. Take smarter shots. Like, that will help this team out, because they've been in huge holes both of these games. And look at this, too. This is something I like, too. The pushing in transition. Look at that. Awesome. Right? Just pushing and pushing and pushing and going in transition. Now, I will say this. Again, this is somewhat with Luka. Whenever they get a board and they're starting to push it up, there are multiple times where Luka will sort of just stop, let the defense get set and reset, and then go. And quite honestly, in at least 2 of these games, this team has been down by 30 plus by the end of the first half, or 20 plus by the end of the first half. And now, obviously, he's not the only reason. I mean, in last game, he was the only dude that made shots in the first half, basically, for the team. But that's, I think, going to be a big thing, is they got to continue to play in transition and with speed and not let this Clippers defense get settled, right? Then we talk about Kyrie Irving, who is averaging 29, 6, and 5, on 51 from the field, 49 from 3, and 91 from the line. Now, if you guys have been around for a little bit, you know I have my feelings about Kyrie. Damn, that man is hooping, bro. I can't even deny it. He's hooping. I will say his game 1 stats are like because they still lost by like 15 plus. Like, yes, they look good, right? And I'm sure they help his numbers. And it's the same thing for Luka or, anyone on the Mavs from that game. It's like, okay, like I get it. But like, you got blown out by like 20 plus. So those numbers, to be quite frank, are not moving me. And then what I do like, though, is what Kyrie's been doing with this team, right? So he gets lively here, decides to sort of reject the screen, keep coffee on him. Boom, boom. And now, again, some of these pull-up threes the Mavs are just deciding to take don't make sense to me, right? Like, why is he just dribbling there? You're down 3. And if I remember correctly, either that's Gafford or PJ Washington. Kick it out. Kick for Kleber, right? Because you got Lively in front too, so he gets that little screen to hold on. But instead, it's just these pull-up threes, like contested, right? It just doesn't make sense to me. And the other thing that I think is going to be needed, right, is easier shots like this for Luka. Like, that's beautiful, right? To Lively, back from Lively, attacking the rim, right? But again, look, this is what I like from Kyrie. Boom, forces the transition, right? Harden stops, bang, right? Force the Clippers to respect your transition game and not allow their defense to get set back into place. So if I had like three major takeaways, if I'm the Dallas Mavericks, right? Like if I'm Jason Kidd or an assistant coach to Jason Kidd, I'm saying, so I went on Basketball Reference, by the way. I also looked at this. They're taking, in the entire series, the Mavericks have taken 134 threes to the Clippers 124 over the entire series. Let's take a little bit less threes. I'm not saying cut them out entirely, right? We're still in this modern age of basketball. 3 ball is going to be huge. I think they got to stop taking so many contested, crazy threes, especially Luka. Play with tempo. You're a deadly team with tempo. Don't let the Clippers slow the game to their pace. Otherwise, you're going to make it harder on yourself and easier for them. And attack the rim or the mid-range. Get back to attacking what we know works. Right? Okay. And I'm not going to lie. You could argue this dude's been the best player in the series, which is insane for me to think. James Harden's been averaging 26, 4, and 7 on 54 from the field, 50 from 3, 91 from the line. I would bet my house, my car, whatever I have financially that holds some form of value, that no one would have thought that James Harden would be the best player in this series going into Game 5. Zero chance. I don't blame him. You have Kawhi. Now, to be fair, I guess Kawhi's had been hurt and is hurt. Luka, Kyrie, Paul George, guys that those last 3 to 4 names, I think we would all kind of be comfortable saying they're either just as good or better than James Harden right now. But guys, James Harden's been out of this world. Right? He gets PJ Washington on him. Right? Boom, boom, slows down again, gets in front. Kleber doesn't really pull over. Luka, at this point, I believe this is game 4. Luka has 5 fouls and 1. Seals the deal. Doesn't even waste time. He's out of there. Right? And just look, like, he gets Gafford. Like, part of the issue is, right, with Luka getting into foul trouble when he does, or sometimes even just defensively, because I'm sure there are going to be Dallas fans who come in here and go, well, Imster, if you actually look, when Luka defended Kawhi and Paul George, the numbers say that he was clamping. Well, I retort to that. Kawhi took like 4 or 5 shots against Luka in the 2 games he played. And Paul George, when being guarded by Luka now, back up to like 44 or 45%. Luka defensively is still a problem. I mean, I'm not now. There's another guy we could be talking about in these playoffs who defensively has just been absolutely just destroyed in Nikola Jokic. So it's not to that level. It's not awful. He's not playing bad defense, but it's just like, it's passable. But I don't think we should be sitting here like, if you go on NBA Twitter and you see the hype for it, this is not something worthy of being hyped. So Harden, again, playing more like he did in Houston. Now, I love game one, what Ty Lue did with Zubac. Right? Look at this. James Harden, boom, back out and over. Luka misses, right? And that's actually a good defensive effort from Luka, like trying to stop him within the gather because he's not a good, not a very good free throw shooter. But getting Zubac involved, right? Then the second guy we're going to talk about, Paul George, 21, 5 and 5 on 45 from the field, 42 from 3, 80 from the line. Paul George in this last game is a major reason they won as well. I mean, the dude hit that crazy gather, step back, going out the way 3, I believe, to tie the game or to take the lead after Kyrie had hit his insane shot. I think, quite frankly, they're going to need to keep him more involved, right? Paul George here gets Derrick Jones on him, does a great job switching hands, keeping it away from Gaffer, so if he did go up, it could look more like a foul call. But again, nothing crazy to try and bait for a foul. Zubac again, and he has the Clippers at times also have a similar thing. Some of these threes that these two teams are taking, quite honestly, are giving an easy break to already good enough defenses. Like, I love this though by Paul George, right? So when Lively gathers and realizes he messed up, or not messed up, but gathers, Paul George is like, oh, wait a minute. He ain't giving the ball to Dante Exum. Let me do this real quick. Boink. Beautiful steal, right? Pass out to Westbrook. And actually got the 3 ball, right? But those right there are huge plays that you need if you're this Dallas, or if you're this Clippers team. So if I had 3 major takeaways for the Clippers, you got to keep PG involved. I believe it was game 3. The minutes, and I mean, I get it. He had like 4 fouls, but the way Ty Lue was using them, and James Harden played like the entire second half, and I'm like, right, coach? Like, 4 is how many games it is to win the series, not how many fouls you get fouled out, right? Like, come on now. I would say let Harden continue to be this Harden within reason. If it reaches the point where things are just so like stalled and slow, okay, let's stop, guys. Like, we don't need this. It's okay. James, you've been cooking, and you still can, but let's get Paul George, let's get Zubac, even Terrence. Let's get some of these other dudes involved. Norman Powell's been great this series. And finally, I think they need to keep Zubac active, continue to force pressure on the rim. And it's funny because both of these teams have similar issues. I think some of the threes that are getting taken are kind of ridiculous. I think they need to be more aggressive at the rim. And I think for the Clippers, especially in game 1, that's a huge reason they took 30, 40-point lead. And that point basically sealed the game. Because they got Zubac and they said, okay, we're going to make you pay now. And there's nothing they could do about it. Now, Jason Kidd, I'll give him this, did well in adjusting in games 2, 3, and 4. But if Ty Lue finds a way to get him just involved a little bit, nothing crazy, he doesn't need to be a vocal point of the offense. I mean, I already picked the Clippers in 7. Now, mind you, this was with the assumption that Kawhi was going to be healthy and playing half decent. And not looking like, my grandmother, shout out to her, has better knees. But I want to know what you guys think down below. Do you agree with my assessment? Am I being too critical on someone like Luka? What do you guys think should be done by either one of these teams to make sure that they're able to get this series and go to play what's looking like at this point a lock of the Oklahoma City Thunder? Let me know what you guys think down below. This was Hemster No Hoops. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe. Have a beautiful rest of your day, guys. Peace out.